Hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of Stream Squad. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Angela.
Oh, and I'm Dan. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Angela. How are you doing today?
I am good. How about you?
I'm not going to complain.
It's finally warm, or compared to what it's been.
You know,
it's like 50 today.
Man, I can't tell you how many, how it's been like at 2 weeks, just nothing but ice.
Yeah,
Finally a nice day.
I think the warmest it's been is like 9-10 degrees or something. But I got an alert on my phone at lunch that we have a winter storm warning for this weekend. So
60 degrees now, and it's going to be, I think, I don't know, there's a wintry mix on Friday night. So we've got that to look forward to.
Yeah. Well,
which is, it's a thing.
It's
it's
winter.
a thing we're going to have to deal with. See some people in there. Tim, hello.
Hey, Tim.
As always, nice to see the video guy in here. And Ryan, I see, saying hi. Hello, everybody. Enough about the weather and small talk. Let's get into the exciting stuff. CES is going on right now. There's all sorts of new announcements and stuff. So let's hear what you got, Angela.
So first for our industry news, Facebook has been doing quite a few studies recently on video ads. So you guys see these all the time on YouTube and Twitch especially. They've been coming into Facebook, and there's been a lot of debate over, are video ads effective and how do people feel about them? And what Facebook has realized is it really depends on the platform people are watching the ad and where the ad appears. So what they found is if the ad appears within the first, like before the video even starts, if it's about 5 to 10 seconds, people will usually let it play. If it's longer than that, no matter how good it is, people try to skip that ad. Now, if the ad is in the middle, it can actually be longer. A 15 to 20 second ad can actually be effective in the middle of a broadcast, and people will stay tuned to watch that. In total though, if the ad is non-skippable, if the option isn't given, people as a whole do not like it because then it feels like they're being forced to watch it.
Does it matter on the length, or is it just...
If they don't put a skip button, people aren't happy. If there is a skip button, it depends on where it is, but a lot of people will watch it in the middle, or if it's short. It's like 10 seconds. By the time you hit skip, it's almost done anyway. They've also seen it depends on the platform. If you're watching it on a horizontal large platform like a television or a big computer screen, people are more likely to watch the ads. And a lot of times this is because they're getting that television style feel. They might be multitasking and doing other things, and they can get away with longer ads, even 30 and 40 seconds at some point with those. If someone is watching on their phone, especially if it's a vertical video like this, people across the board do not want an ad. They've seen the quickest way to have an ad be skipped is to have it pop up on a vertical video. So really interesting stuff. We'll leave a link to the full survey down below.
Oh yeah, I got that, don't I? I should probably do that for people.
They were seeing that ads usually go the best on YouTube and Twitch, where people are watching for a long period of time anyway. They've seen for Instagram and Snapchat, ads are doing terribly because people just want that content, not any of the ads. So Facebook's going to be doing some more studies and using this data to construct how they do ads for Facebook. What's your
take on it? I mean, sure, that's all those people. I know when I see an ad on Facebook, first of all, I don't know. I usually, as soon as an ad pops up in the middle, I'm like, scroll on down.
It depends. Really, to me, I kind of agree with a lot of what they said. It depends on where I'm watching it, and it depends on what it is. Like, if I'm about to watch a comedy video on Facebook or YouTube or something, and a 10-second ad comes on, and it's advertising a comedy show, or it's a funny ad, I'm probably going to watch it. Like, it's short, it's quick, it's in the same kind of genre of what I was already going to see. If I'm going to watch like a 30-minute gaming video and a minute-long ad on toilet paper comes up, no, I'm skipping that. Like, I'm not watching it. So to me, it really depends on what the ad is and where it's coming up. But a lot of times on those larger screens, I do let them play because I'm writing or doing something else while it's playing in the background. If I'm watching something on my phone, especially Snapchat or Instagram, I want to see what filters my friends are using. I don't really want to see an ad. So I agree with Facebook's study. I think they're right on point.
I think too, when you're holding a phone, it's so easy to swipe to the next thing. Especially
you don't have to move your controller or anything.
Like if you're holding it like this, I could see it being a little different. But if I'm holding the phone like this and there's something I want to see, it's really easy to just flick the thumb and get down to the next thing. So, yeah, it is an interesting study, and it is neat how they're compiling all that different data all together.
And let us know what you guys think about ads, what your experience is, especially if you completely disagree with the study. Let us know kind of your feelings. We'd like to see what you guys think about ads across all platforms. The other big piece of industry news for today is DJI has announced the release of the DJI Osmo Mobile 2. So you guys know that we love the original Osmo Mobile. Back in mid-April 2017, we did an integration with Switcher Studio to use it as pan tilt. If you guys aren't familiar with it, the Osmo Mobile is a handheld stabilizing gimbal. It syncs to your smartphones using Bluetooth. It works for both iPhone and Android, and it gives you that cinematic stabilized view as you're moving around and reduces camera shake. So it's been a really nice thing to have. Now, the Osmo Mobile 2 was just announced. It's going to be available for pre-order starting January 23rd. And one of its main things that it's going for is a cheaper price point. The Mobile 1 started at a $299 price point. Since then it's dropped. You can normally find it for about $150 to $200, but the Osmo Mobile 2 is going to be released with the price point of $129. So, a lot of people are really interested in that. Even if they have the first, it's going to be pretty easy to pick up the second. The tracking for the DJI app has been approved with the Mobile 2. So if you've got it on a tripod, you've got it on the DJI app with tracking, it's going to have better tracking for that panorama. Whereas the Osmo Mobile 1, the battery would die in about 3 to 4 hours. The battery for the 2 is going to last for 15 hours. So for those day-long events, you guys are good to go with that.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, mine would die so easily before. And the last thing they've done is they've improved the zoom function. Not only is it smoother, but they've added a button at the bottom of the handle. So instead of having to move your hand up and zoom, as you're holding it down at the base, you can control the zoom that way. So that's available for pre-order in about 2 weeks. We'll share the link for that one as well if you guys are interested.
I think I did. Yeah, the link is below. Could you just reiterate? Someone asked how much it is.
Sure, it's going to start at $129.99.
So it's even significantly cheaper than the first one.
Yeah, it's cheaper, awesome. It's lighter, longer battery. Definitely sounds like they're going in the right direction. We've had a few people ask already if it is going to work with switchers.
As Lee asked. Lee there
I anticipated it. We've had a few people ask if it's going to work with Switcher Studio. With it just being announced, we still have a partnership with DJI. We're going to be talking with them to see what can be done. For you guys who are interested in using the Osmo Mobile 2, make sure to stay in touch with us. I recommend joining our Switcher Studio enthusiast group on Facebook, which we'll discuss a little bit later in the show as well. And that way, as any new updates are coming through, whether it's about the 2 itself or a possible integration with Switcher Studio, we can let you guys know what's going on.
Yeah. Just to get to a couple of comments here, I'm seeing some good stuff talking about the Osmo. I see one question Jonathan had was, how close does the Osmo need to be to the iPad? He's looking to use this for sports. Was it last week or the week before that we had the volleyball, or not volleyball, the basketball?
The basketball, that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
If you check out, I can try and find it and I'll comment on there, but someone was following a girls' basketball game with an Osmo. What you're getting into there is not so much a question of distance. Your distance is going to depend on your local network. So you're going to have to. We've got a lot of sources. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole yet, but a couple Google Wi-Fi routers, and you can get some really good range out of them. So yeah, you might want to check out the user group or something. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, when we ask those questions, that's when we're getting into what your network needs to look like.
Yeah.
I thought I saw another. Going back to the Facebook one. Ryan was asking. He says he's planning to insert ads in their live show. Do you know if the stats that Facebook that was pre-made video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if someone's watching a live show, I think they're going to be engaged enough, especially if there's a planned break or something. They're going to stick with it. They're going to watch that ad then. I think this is more for if it's just a pre-recorded video.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
their pre-ads were the ones where they noticed the numbers were down more. But if you're doing any kind of advertisement in the middle of your stream with like a video, or Facebook puts their ads in the middle, viewers are going to stick around. They see it as kind of just an ordinary commercial. They're going to watch the ad and continue on with your broadcast at that point.
Yeah, I see some other really good comments and people kind of talking about the Osmo and stuff. I see Chris Carson in there.
Hey Chris.
He, not too far from us, came down. He's been on one of our shows actually.
Yeah.
He's asking about other gimbals, and I wish we could support everything out there. Mm-hmm. But for right now, unless they have an open SDK, we can't really do anything with it. So we always tell people that it's the same thing with like the Mevo camera. We get that question a lot, where people want to use the Mevo camera with Switcher, and we always say, hey, go tell these go tell these people that you want Switcher to work with it, and hopefully we can, create a business relationship and open up some things and be able to integrate with them.
Yeah, a lot of it's based on demand, so definitely, we like hearing what you guys want to integrate with, but a huge part of it is reaching out to these companies, letting them know you guys should work with Switcher Studio, and especially if they're getting that all the time, they're more likely to contact us and work something out with us.
Cool. Well, I see another comment in here that I think gets into our next little bit here, and that is a very familiar Nick Mattingly says hi from CES.
Perfect timing, Nick.
Yeah, going on to, for those of you who don't know, Nick is actually out there right now at CES. So since he's here right now, if there's something that that's there that Nick should be checking out, comment so Nick can see it, and we'll send him there. We'll send him their booth or have him talk to them or whatnot. But yeah, you want to talk a little bit?
Sure. So CES is currently going on in Vegas. We've seen a lot of great things coming through. Nick is actually, he was just on last night on Live U's Facebook page doing an interview with them. They've had a bunch of great people on for interviews. I think Dan's
I'm
got
getting
some
set up right now. Let me
footage.
do a multi-view here.
Yeah, some footage that he can share. But everything that we've seen coming through so far has been great. There's a few things that we have seen at CES that we're going to bring to you guys next week and discuss, so make sure you're tuning in next week as well for that.
Yeah, we hopefully will have Nick back by then. So,
yeah, and he can talk about his
hopefully
experience.
Nick can talk about what he's been able to see out there and all the fun new goodies. I think I saw an article about a Facebook doing something like a two-way chat camera or something. So who knows? Who knows what all is coming out there? But yeah, I think Nick's out there right now. He was on the LiveView show, as you said. LiveView has been great to us. We've done some work with them. I think we're going to talk a little bit about their LiveView Solo. If you check out, I think you saw at the end there was a little bit from Chrome One Box, and that's just a group. I think they're out of Elizabethtown, so not far from us, but we know some people who work with them, so they're doing some live streaming, and Nick's helping them do that, and that's going to be done with a LiveView Solo. So
yeah.
I don't want to get too far ahead of it, but yeah. So I think that's it for industry news, right?
Yeah, that wraps up our industry. Moving into strategy, we've gone over a bunch of really helpful hints on our strategy piece in the past few months. But one thing that we actually have yet to discuss, which can prevent its own kind of set of challenges, is shooting outdoors. Now, it might seem tempting to begin with because you've got that kind of natural scenery. A lot of times you can work with natural light, and it might seem like it's going to be just the same as shooting indoors, but I recommend, first of all, doing at least a quick little kind of test stream or test recording before you actually do the real thing, and here's why. One thing to watch out for is there's a lot of noise outside. And some of it you're going to notice right off the bat if there's, animals or insects nearby, if you're by an intersection where there are cars going by, if you're at a public setting and there's people chattering or moving chairs. The thing that you don't always realize is, whereas you notice those while you're filming, it's a lot louder in the recording. So definitely keep that in mind and try to go to a quieter location, and that's going to help you out in the long run. Another thing to watch out for with noise is that a lot of times there's noises you don't expect that are going to be picked up. You might hear a car honking in the distance. I've personally had issues where there was construction going on down the road. I'm outside and I go back and listen to my footage later, and you can hear the jackhammer or something going on, and it didn't even cross my mind at the time. Crickets, chirping, anything like that. So again, do that kind of at least a test recording. Make sure you know what your footage is going to sound like, and that's going to help. It's also important to make sure you have something like a windsock for your microphone. Anytime that wind blows on your microphone, if you don't have a windsock, it is the worst noise. And I've had a lot of footage that's basically been unusable because I had a normal microphone, all of a sudden the wind blew, didn't think anything of it, and now you can barely hear the person talking. So definitely keep that in mind. You never know when the wind is going to blow, but even just a slight bit can ruin your entire thing. Also keep in mind the lighting and how the sun is coming to affect that day. If it's completely cloudy or completely sunny, it's easier to deal with because you've got kind of almost like a static lighting field. But if it's a cloudy, a mostly cloudy day or partly cloudy day, the shot that looks good 1 minute cannot look good the next when something changes. It could be too dark or too light. You could have sun shining on a subject's face. Also, if you're doing the trick where you're filming in the daytime and you're going to bring it in later to post-production and add filters to make it look like night, that will not work on sunny days because you're going to get all of those shadows and it's going to be obvious this was filmed during the daytime. So these are kind of some small things to keep in mind for the overall quality of the recording. Now, if you're live, it also adds in the effect of networking, whereas you can get a dedicated router and use it in your office. A lot of times you're dealing with a mobile hotspot. And kind of as we've mentioned on some of the other broadcasts, make sure to contact your data provider, let them know you need at least 3 megabits of upload speed on that hotspot. Also tell them you cannot have data throttling on your hotspot. If that's there, they can slow that hotspot down anytime they want, whether you've gone over a certain amount of data or if your network is congested. Make sure to tell them, I can't have throttling, and that's going to help you out. If you are in a situation, though, that's very crowded, like a concert or some kind of big event, the people nearby are going to congest that data network, though, and that can wreak havoc on your performance. For things like that, we have something coming up in the user group happenings that we're going to go over as well and kind of talk to you guys about the live use solo.
Yeah, I guess that we kind of are filtering into our next segment there. And I got to say, before we went live, Angela and I were just kind of reviewing our talking points and whatnot, and I said, okay, I'll let you just talk about from experience what you've had with shooting outdoors. And I mean, I think you hit everything on the head, and I was like, I'll just bring in what I know as well. But I mean, you nailed everything. You got to make sure you have your dead cat covers for wind if it's going to be a windy day. Cloud cover is great when it's there, but then it's not, and it's super sunny. Even if your subjects are getting blinded by the sun, at least they're not having shadows on their face. Yeah. So, it takes a lot to shoot outside, and it takes a lot of planning. And something else I'd recommend is if it is like a live shoot or something, there's always that chance of rain sometimes, depending on where you are. So it's not a bad idea to either bring extra garbage bags or something to put over your gear, or a tent to set up your gear under. A a lot of tricky little things there that could go wrong.
Yeah.
And then your advice on what to do with if you're doing like a hotspot or something on a phone or whatnot. That's perfect. Before we get too far and go into the user group, I've seen some more really good questions in here, and I can just kind of go through these really quick. I see someone asking, are you going to be at NAB? Yes, we will. I don't know exactly where we will be yet. Last year there was a Facebook Live pavilion. I was right at the top of the stairs and the main hall as soon as you came in. I assume we're going to be there again. We don't have that booked or anything yet, so I can't confirm. But yes, we will be there. Mike was asking what CES stands for, and it's the Consumer Electronics Show. I'm
pretty sure.
I'm almost positive that's what it is. Yeah, people just talking about. Yeah, I think those are the big questions for right now. Something else I guess I should mention. I just saw someone mention external, I think an external display in the comments, but external batteries is another thing that you should probably have when you're shooting outside, right? Anker makes a bunch of them. You can just plug them in. Actually, that's what we're powering our 2 extra cameras on. I saw another one there asking, Dan was asking if all this is being produced with Switcher Studio. Yes, this is. This right here is my main mixer. I'm doing a screen capture here, and we've got a couple devices out here.
With the external batteries, I highly recommend getting them. Before I was even doing live video, I already had a couple just to take with me on day to day. You never know if something's going to happen where you're going to be on your phone a lot and all of a sudden it's dying. If you're going out for the day, you don't always have access to a charger. You can get the external batteries for $10, $15 on Amazon. We recommend Anker, and especially when you are doing recordings or live broadcasts, they're about this big, smaller than a candy bar, really easy to plug it in and just keep that charge going so you don't have to worry about your battery dying or getting done and now your phone's at 5% or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm seeing some other people who are just kind of asking about how to get audio in, so like more than one device. We've got tons and tons of tutorials and stuff like that on our website. For those of you who are on trial too, you might have gotten an email. If you're here from a trial or whatnot, you might have gotten an email about a webinar that we do every Wednesday. I definitely recommend checking that out if you have some questions about how to set up Switcher for the first time. It's in a couple hours. It's at 4 p.m. Eastern, and it's on our YouTube channel, and you can get the link from your email there, and that will kind of help you just get through everything set up for your first time and whatnot. I'll go through how to set up your first stream. We can talk about the iRigs and all that stuff there. Yeah. But cool, before we go too far down the rabbit hole and other things, I know we kind of teased it, but our user group questions that we've been seeing.
So quickly with the user group, I kind of name dropped it earlier on the broadcast. We have a Facebook community called Switcher Studio Enthusiasts, and we're at about 1,400 members. It's a very active community. There's all kinds of people, whether they've been doing this for a long time or just thinking about using Switcher Studio, and people are sharing tips and tricks, asking questions, showing different things they've done with their presentation. It's great for anyone who's interested in using Switcher or wants to see what else can be done with Switcher. So there are 3 ways to join. You can either search for Switcher Studio Enthusiasts. You can go to our Facebook page where you're probably watching this right now, click on groups and it'll take you there. Or if you log into your account at switcherstudio.com, there will be a link that says join the community. Regardless of which way you do, you'll answer just a short survey. It lets us know more about how you're using Switcher and how we can help you out, and then you'll be entered into the group. It normally takes less than 24 hours to get entered into the group, so it's definitely a good thing to be in. But we always take, a question.
That's sorry to interrupt you, but that's another really great spot to ask questions.
Yeah.
I see Carlin in here is helping, I think it was, someone was asking questions in there. I think Carlin said, hey, you can message me and I'll help you out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's exactly how the user group is too. So Yeah.
It's a great place. And, you know, just with that example, it's really friendly. So don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, we're all in there to help you out, and the other members of the community are in there to help as well. But each week on Stream Squad, we like to take, you know, one question or topic that was posted that stuck out to us and discuss it on here. You know, we kind of teased it a little bit in the last segment, but today's is going to be on using the Live View Solo. And this is great on times where you don't have access to your normal Wi-Fi setup and where you might not be able to just tap into your hotspot.
Yeah, I feel like our user group was more just using a hotspot or getting networking where you might not have plugs or something, you know, you have to run everything off of battery, where, of course, that first option is using a hotspot or turning it on your phone. And when you're doing that, first thing to do is probably make sure your cameras are closer together so you can have a better connection with them. Of course, not all phones have a hotspot or don't have a powerful enough signal to send out, and you might need something more robust. Like, for instance, if I have Verizon and I'm somewhere where Verizon isn't covered well, but AT&T is, you know, I mean, I'm out of luck at that point unless you have something like the Live View Solo, which is cellular bonding. It's a hard word to say. Cellular bonding.
It's a tongue twister.
And so you can plug in more than one, and that's how Nick is, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to be doing a couple live shows from out at CES, and I've got to say, I've used the big Live View before, and those have taken a little more time to get set up, and I've had to like be on the phone with them, which isn't a problem. Everyone there is super helpful, and they always get it working for me. But this one, I plugged it in. I knew our login. I logged in, and setting up Facebook events and everything is super easy. Really, really easy. You just have to really just tap a button, and you're going live. And so that's just another way to do it, I guess, if you're out in a field and you're somewhere where there really isn't any network at all. There's no chance of using a phone, or maybe your phone doesn't have a good signal. You can try something. Of course, Live View does get expensive really quick. So this is definitely more of an, I don't want to say enterprise solution, but more high profile, I guess, where
usually we see people who they're doing video for a living, or, you know, they've got a big company or something. If you're just getting started, the Live View Solo is probably going to be a little over, you know, that starting cost for setting up your production. But it's something to keep in mind and look into, and as, you know, you're able to upgrade your setup, especially if this is something you're interested in, that would be the time to start using it.
I see Jonathan say, I think he's asking if we use Live View Solo with Switcher. Yeah, so pretty much what the Live View does is it's going to act as your signal to send whatever video you give it out to Facebook or whatever. So what you would do is on your main, so here's my main switcher. I'm going to take a line out here. I'm going to take the dongle that has the HDMI input as well, plug that in, and then have the HDMI go into the Live View. So we're getting everything that I mixed here. So I'm not tapping the record and broadcast here with Switcher, but I'm still able to use all the functions with Switcher and then send that video, the live feed, out to the Live View and then out to everybody. Very cool. So that's kind of our user group questions. And I know, as always, we like to end with a
Made with Switcher.
Made with Switcher. And speaking of outdoor shoots and whatnot.
Yes. So today's Made with Switcher, hashtag Made with Switcher, is from the Farmacy. So this is a video that we all really enjoyed in the office. Not only do they do a live demo creating one of their recipes, but they also went out and did a live interview with, you know, one of the farmers that helped them to get the food they use in the recipe. So it was great to see that kind of combination of footage, also being able to actually demonstrate how to cook the recipe instead of just providing it. We've also talked, you know, a pretty good length on here about what to do as you end your broadcast. You know, always give a call to action. And they mentioned one of their produce giveaways and how to enter that contest. So they really hit all the boxes on this. It was a great, presentation that they produced. They had multiple elements to it. It was informational, and they left with their call to action to keep people, on their radar and keep them coming back for more and more broadcasts and giveaways.
Yeah, and this was one I've just kind of been skipping through there so everyone can see. I'll link this video here in the comments right now. But this was something we found out from the user group, and the guy who did the production for it actually posted his process, all the stuff he used, and had some behind the scenes pictures. So it was really, really well done. Really cool.
Yeah, and we always say, we do love seeing the different kind of broadcasts that you guys make. There are two main ways to share them with us. The easiest and best way is to share it in the user group. Just make sure to give some detail on what the broadcast is, kind of the setup that you used. People will be able to watch, ask questions depending on your setup. And we'll be able to see those as well. We are all in the user group. The other way, if you're going to share this on social media, such as your Twitter or Instagram, make sure to put the hashtag #MadeWithSwitcher onto that link. We do search that hashtag as well, and that'll also help us to see your video. Not only are we keeping an idea of those to see what you guys are making, but we do feature one video a week, so you guys will also have the opportunity to be on Stream Squad.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, going back to our user group, Chris Carson again talking about Speedify, which is also,
yes.
I know that's probably something you could ask Chris. I'm not an expert on Speedify, but I know Chris has used it a bunch, and he's in the user group. I'm sure he'd be happy to answer people's questions about that. But yeah, definitely another option that's out there. Cool. I think that's really all the time we have for today.
Yeah.
I'd just like to thank everybody for tuning in, and yeah, until next time.
Yeah, we'll be back Wednesday next week at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Again, hopefully we'll have Nick on as well to share more about CES. And, as Dan mentioned earlier, if you are a newer user and you got that email about the webinar will be starting in about 90 minutes on our YouTube channel. Make sure to use the link in your YouTube, and it'll be a full walkthrough to get you started.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.